Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Shavi Zane coming on just to have a quick discussion with you all in regards to karmic soulmates. So one question that I've often been asked from people is, is it possible for a karmic soulmate or two karmic soulmates to be able to have a long-term commitment with one another, especially when one has evolved spiritually and the other is still in a karmic energy? And so, I just wanted to have a quick discussion in regards to that, because I feel like a lot of people end up at a crossroads when it comes to their love life and being able to release themselves from karmic partners, or even questioning whether or not it's meant for them to release themselves. Can it work out, And so, if you don't know what a karmic soulmate is, generally these are two people who come together. You've had past life connections with one another, whether it was romantically or otherwise, and you come into this lifetime. When you do get together, the connection is usually very, very magnetic, and a lot of times it's largely based on that sexual energy, especially in the initial phase of the relationship. That part of the relationship is very the chemistry is very heightened when it comes to those things that operate from the root and sacral chakra. But you find that in these types of karmic connections, you generally end up with a lot of really harsh lessons that come with these relationships. So a lot of pain, a lot of traumatic events that take place. Sometimes it can be as extreme as abuse, lots of infidelity, verbal abuse, narcissism. All of these things happen, and it ends up being this karmic cycle that you end up being on with this person, whether a lot of times it's years. You're going to have children with this person, or you just have a long-term commitment where the repeat cycles of the same types of things continue over and over again. And you often question, well, why can't things change? We have this strong desire to be with one another. We have this magnetic chemistry, especially when it comes to your sexual energy, but it's something about the relationship that just won't allow things to get you off of that hamster wheel of, pain. And so, one thing, when I think about it, I would never say never to anything, right? So there's no such thing as impossible. There's infinite possibilities out here. And so it's not like a karmic soulmate connection can't go the distance. It can. But the question is, where are the two people at spiritually on an individual basis? Because generally, karmic connections, they're going to come in and it's going to awaken certain things within you. It's going to put that pressure on you, like that diamond that has to go through that pressure and that fire that coal that comes out on the other side as a diamond, but it had to first go through pressure. And so with all of that pressure, generally you find that at least one person is going to grow and evolve spiritually, because that's the whole purpose of these karmic connections. And so the one person who has evolved spiritually, they will find that they begin to look at the other person with a different set of eyes. And you might be more empathetic towards them, more compassionate towards them, but from a distance. And you'll find that it's like, okay, we're no longer compatible with one another. We have too many differences, and these differences just will not allow for us to be able to evolve, or it's going to put me in a place where if I stay with you, then I face the risk of going backwards. I face the risk of stunning my growth. Or it could be the opposite effect, where that person who is still in that karmic energy is watching you evolve. They have a strong desire for things to work out, and they suddenly decide that they want to evolve and they want to level up with you. And so generally it's never going to be completely balanced, because unless you just stop evolving and it's like you decide to wait for this person to catch up with you, and then suddenly the two of you are on the same level and now you're evolving together. That's not impossible, but it's rare. If that's not the case, then you're going to always be rising higher while this person is trying to play catch up. And so really it can come to a space where it's like, okay, it literally comes down to deciding, do you have the patience to allow this person to do what's necessary to level up? You know, do you truly see the potential in this person? Is this person really putting in the work and the effort to change? And if you find that you see the changes that are happening and the two of you are able to overcome the past, because again, these karmic situations are not just things that you can just get over or forget about, you know, because a karmic relationship, depending on the type of lessons that the karmic relationships that you end up attracting to you are generally the ones that's going to bring those really harsh lessons. And depending on what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime, it can be harder lessons, you know, than the average relationship. And so you end up having to go through these moments of healing, deep reflection. And a lot of times too, it's important to keep in mind that karmic relationships are generally, the person comes into your life to be a reflection of the wound that you suppressed. So if they come in and they reawaken abandonment issues, then it's likely that you suppressed abandonment issues from your childhood. If they come in to reawaken insecurities, it's likely that there's some place in your life where you became very insecure. And so it generally works out that way. You know, if you attract somebody to you that questions or that challenges your spiritual belief systems, then it could be that you're, in this lifetime, you're meant to overcome certain spiritual boundaries or breaking free from certain spiritual conditioning that tells you that you can't take this path because it's not right. So you might end up attracting a karmic partnership to you that really challenges you spiritually, and it can be very toxic, you know, in a lot of ways. And so I say all of this to say, can these relationships work? Again, it's not impossible, but most of the time they come in with a specific assignment. You fulfill that assignment, and you usually evolve towards your divine partnership. Again, divine unions, they are two people who have stepped into their divinity. And so if you have someone who's still in a very karmic energy and they have not done the work to step into their own divinity, then they can't be your divine masculine or your divine feminine, if that's what you seek. But if you find that you can still carry out your assignment, you can still evolve spiritually, you can still do what's necessary to be authentic and transparent, and your heart chakra won't get blocked. You still can keep an open heart chakra and be compassionate and empathetic with that partner who was karmic in their energy in the past, then it's a strong potential that things can work. But if being with that person causes you to become guarded, it causes you to retract back into that space of closing off your heart chakra because you're trying to protect yourself, that's a key sign that tells you that you and that person likely cannot make it for the long haul in this lifetime. It doesn't mean that in another lifetime they can't evolve to a place where the two of you can come back together and have a solid relationship. But any relationship that blocks off your heart chakra is working against your spiritual evolution, because you have to operate, in order to evolve spiritually, you need an open heart chakra. You know, your upper chakras need to be in alignment. They need to be open. They need to be balanced. And so a blocked heart chakra causes you to project the wrong types of energy, which will cause you to attract the wrong types of things. And it'll be the direct opposite of everything that you desire. And so that's not how this thing is supposed to work out for those of us who are here to evolve and awaken here in the age of Aquarius. And so it's very important to keep these things in mind when you think about selecting your partner and whether or not you're able to redeem something with someone from the past, because again, these karmic partnerships can be very magnetic. They can be, you know, and a lot of times the connection is largely, it's like the stronghold of the connection is usually based off of trauma and codependency. Trauma and codependency. So both of you likely had like very traumatic childhoods, full of full of a lot of pain and things that you suppressed. And then codependency, it ends up placing you in a position where you feel like you need validation. You feel like you need support in certain areas, and you're not able to find your own independence in other areas, and so you end up being bonded to this person largely due to trauma and codependency. And so that's where it's so important once you come into a space of awakening and healing, and so you heal from trauma, these traumas, you heal from codependent energy, and you step into your own divinity. Then you take a second look, you take a new look at the relationship from a new set of eyes, from a spiritual perspective. And then it's like, do we really have anything in common? Are we really compatible? And what really bonded us together? What really attracted us together? And you start to recognize that what attracted you was all of those things that you're no longer operating from. You're no longer in that energy. And so then you question, well, so then what do we have? And so if that person is not doing the work to rise up in their divinity and to match you in terms of your evolutionary process, then you'll find that the two of you just won't have anything in common enough for you to maintain a solid relationship. And so with that being said, I just wanted to, touch bases with you all in regards to that. And so for those of you who might be questioning, can I work this out? Yes, there's a possibility. Is there a high possibility? No. Just take a good look at your current circumstance. Take a good look at, okay, baby, hold on, I'm gonna get it. Take a good look at your circumstance. Take a good look at your compatibility. Take a look at the person. Are they doing the work? Or are they still displaying the same type of behavior patterns that caused you all to stay on that karmic cycle, on that karmic wheel? And, weigh the pros and cons. Can you continue to evolve spiritually? Can you continue to keep an open heart chakra? Can you continue to stay transparent and be your most authentic self? Or do you have to put that protective armor back on in order to maintain the relationship? Do you have to stay on alert at all times? Are you constantly thinking back towards the past and rehashing and reliving the past? Or are you able to continue to progress forward? If the answer is no to those things, then you really want to reconsider whether or not this is your person. And, we have to take this thing a step at a time, because we all have assignments to fulfill. Everybody, because some people are like, I don't know if I have a purpose in this lifetime. Everybody serves a purpose in this lifetime. And unfortunately for some, their purpose is literally to be the karmic energy towards the other person, so that other person can step into their divinity in this lifetime. And so they carry out their purpose, even if it means them being toxic and karmic in their energy. They carry out their assignment to be that pressure on the coal so that it turns into a diamond. And so we all have our own assignments. But you want to make sure that you fulfill yours in this lifetime, and that you're not stagnated because of your desire to be with someone who, life keeps telling you, well, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Stay right here, baby. And you continue to try to make it work, but everything, you have the signs that continue to caution you that says, but it's just not going to work, So really just, use your own discernment. The more that you awaken spiritually, the more that your spiritual eyes begin to open. And so it's certain things that is undeniable. And so, whereas in the past, I know, baby, whereas in the past, you might have been able to close your eyes off to certain things. Now coming into your awakening, it's like you can't close your eyes to things anymore. Once you see, you can't unsee when you open up your spiritual eyes. But when you look at from your natural eyes, that's why you was able to maintain the karmic relationship for so long, because it was like, well, you're able to shut yourself off because you're only seeing it from the surface. But when you rise above this thing and you start seeing it from a higher perspective, you can no longer unsee, and you can no longer be in denial about the truth. So that's what I got for y'all. I hope this message helps some of you all out who had that question. I love you. If you want a private reading from me, please be sure to email me, and I will talk to you all next time.